Legends, we got what we were flipping tables over. We got a change to the Blood Death Knight 2-piece in patch 10.2, and it is looking pretty good now. So the new 2-piece reads, Midrasil, the Dream's Hope 2-set bonus now triggers from consuming runic power. Now this was previously triggering on consuming bone shield charges. The 4-piece remains untouched, but if you're not familiar with that, the 4-piece bonus is Soul Reaper's execute damage, and Abomination Limbs damage applies Ashen Decay to enemy targets. Heartstrike and Blood Boil's direct damage extends Ashen Decay by 1 second. So what does all this mean now? Well, it is a fantastic change for raiding. This now means when you're not actively tanking a boss, you still have a trigger point for your set bonus via your rotation through hitting Death Strike. So you have a much higher proc rate now in the raid environment. To the Mythic Plus side of things, it's going to be about the same in terms of proc rate that we saw on the previous set with the Bone Shield interaction. The value though on the Mythic Plus side of things now is that you're not just going to get these random procs, you have some control over it via your rotational play. So for bosses in Mythic Plus and lower mob density pool style dungeons, we're going to be far better off with this change. Another great thing with this 2-piece change is it now ramps the value of Heartbreaker, which gives you an additional 2 runic power per target hit. More runic power equals more death strikes equals more procs. The good thing regarding the 2-piece now is that 4-piece was really fun and it rewarded good gameplay via buff extension. Now the 2-piece feeds directly into that by rewarding good rotational play with the proc. The proc rate on the 2-piece is still the same as it was via the Bone Shield consumption, so it was 10% per Bone Shield charge consumed. It's now 10% per Death Strike. But as mentioned, your rotational control influences this proc now, which gives us greater control, which is only a good thing. From a 12-minute target dummy test, I had 6 minutes 30 in uptime on the buff, so it's clearly decent, and I certainly wasn't playing optimal, so you could definitely see a fairly large increase on this buff uptime. This now means that fixing rotational issues in Dragonflight Season 3 though will be paramount for Blood DK players. My recommendation as always is to log your runs and then either head to the Acarus Discord or come to mine where I've assembled the Infinity Gauntlet of Theory Crafters and get some feedback. As a washed up old man, I take my logs to Mandel, he tells me how shit I am, and then I figure out the best ways to improve and go forward, and that's how you're going to make the most out of these tier set bonuses. I still think we'll see some further changes come to the set bonus. This certainly puts it into a better position with the 2-piece change, but there are still some issues. From a raid sense, you're actually going to gain basically no value from the 2-piece once you hit your execute phase. Your 4-piece is going to be granting you 100% uptime via Soul Reaper, and not that I think that this is the biggest issue, but I don't think there's ever a case where your 2-piece or your 4-piece becomes useless and that feels good, and that's what is going to happen here. The last change I would love to see is the 4-piece transfer to the 2-piece in regards to application. So having the proc now come via runic spend in Death Strike is fantastic, and in the 4-piece, Blood Boil and Heartstrike extends the buff. I would love to see that transferred to 2-piece, where Blood Boil and Heartstrike can apply the buff as well. I just think this opens up the tier set to even more multiple gameplay options and would feel really nice. So that's it, just wanted to make a quick little update around the patch 10.2 2-piece change that we saw for Blood DK. Again, I think there are even more changes on the way for this. I think the tank sets across the board are going to see a lot of changes. There's a lot of unhappy discussions circulating around a lot of the set bonuses at the moment, so strap yourselves in. It's going to be a bumpy ride to 10.2, but at the moment, Blood DK is shaping up very well. This 2-piece change is really nice. 4-piece is nice. The legendary axe that we're going to have, we are shaping up to be non-doomers in 10.2. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, of course. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so, and I'll see you all next time. See you, fam.